Oops. Work sessions are an opportunity for board members to discuss issues informally with staff and invited guests. The board encourages members of the public to attend work sessions and listen to the discussion, but there is generally no opportunity for public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the board are welcome to do so during the board's regularly scheduled meetings. First is discussion of the formal agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I crave your indulgence and make the Music Day proclamation because I have encouraged Dave Ambrose all these years, and I take ridiculous pride, if I can coin a phrase, in making that.
You want to
Okay.
make the music? Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And here's the deal. Item number 7. Computer aided dispatch and record management system is on the consent agenda. But our sheriff got a grant and got it all paid for. Hot diggity dog. So I don't want to disrupt the smooth flow of the consent agenda. But if we could have a little like marching band and trumpets and balloons and confetti and popping champagne corks.
Man, you're asking for a lot. You want to make the music and you want to have a parade and everything too.
I know it's true, but that has been a threat. The last.
Is the sheriff going to be here tonight? Well, we certainly can provide him an opportunity to
Yeah,
to showcase what that all
that huge
entails.
achievement. Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah, thanks.
Anything else? Commissioner Toyoka is joining us virtually. Anything else on the agenda? All right, then we can look at the long-term agenda.
Oh,
Oh, no worries. Don't have it. Okay.
the rolling.
The rolling agenda. Do we want to?
Trying to see, what,
No change.
Anything coming up
we don't-
that we need to be aware of? I know we have the all cities or the all county meeting coming up on July 11th, so that's
and
5:30.
just a reminder that there is no work session on next week, July 17th or June 17th,
Okay,
June 19th, sorry.
No work session.
No work session June 19th. Thank you.
One thing I'll be reaching out for the jail needs a law firm from the formal commission.
Insurance deduction.
So I'll be reaching out.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next topic, the Transportation and Growth Management Grant Submittal Authorization on page 4. And do you have any presentation, or if it's just a review?
Jeff, right here.
Oh, Jay. Oh, yeah, I was overlooking it.
I'm here for my charm.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. No,
All right,
I'm actually
Jay.
here to give you just a brief update and let you know that we'll be bringing back a resolution authorizing the staff to submit the grant request itself. Mr. Chair and members of the Board of Commissioners, thanks for this opportunity to present to you. One of my background areas is I did some transportation planning while back in Minnesota, and I recognize the value of a strong and updated transportation system plan. Our last one was done in about 2015. And so we thought it was time we took a look at it again. So if you would switch it, that'd be great. There we go. All right. Just quickly, I'm going to take all of my 10 minutes, but no more. I'm going to give you just a quick summary of what we have in our current plan, why a new plan is needed, and a little bit about the funding opportunity, and then I'll take some questions. And then, as I mentioned, a resolution will be coming back to you under consent agenda in 2 weeks. If you would, please. Thank you. The last TSP, or Transportation System Plan, was completed in 2015. And since that time, we've had some fairly significant changes. Do not look at the little writing there. I'm not going to read that to you. It's just to let you know that we have a series of goals that are consistent with state standards. They identified the following major constraints. One, we're an aging population. Well, that still happens to be true. There was more congestion in 2015 over 2003, and that may still be true. There was more tourism in 2015 over 2003. That may be true. There was strong concern about the health of Highway 30, 26, and 101, the state corridors. That still is an issue. And there are funding gaps. Guess what? Those are still issues that no one has been able to solve since 2015. If you would go ahead, we can. All right. So right at the top, unfortunately, it's blocked on my screen here, but here's why we're going to take a look at this. We have recently adopted our comprehensive plan update. Who knew Ensign Drive was going to look like that? I don't know that we did back in 2015, and certainly we didn't in 2003. We've had a number of public facilities constructed or expanded that are outside of the tsunami area. That is changing some of the traffic patterns in our greater community, the schools in Seaside, the schools in Warrenton, the public safety facilities in Warrenton as well. We also have anticipated housing. There's the 450 unit housing development in Warrenton that's proposed. There's a fairly significant redevelopment of the old school site in Seaside. And there's always discussion about redevelopment in downtown Astoria. All of these things are going to be moving where people live and ultimately where they work. So we need to be aware of some of those changes. And as expected, the state always does update and change its rules and regulations and requirements. And so we're wanting to be consistent with that as well. This is the logical extension of the EOA, Economic Opportunities Analysis, because successful economic development programs need to have successful transportation systems. And that's not just roads, that's the whole gamut of transportation systems. And we want to support the reinvention of the Sunset Empire Transit District. It's important that they're part of our process. And so I've reached out to them and we'll be talking with their board, and they're on full support of updating our plans. The TGM program, the Transportation and Growth Management Program, is a program that is a joint project of ODOT and the Department of Land Conservation and Development, DLCD. It's been going on for quite a number of years and has funded lots of programs just like this. There are two major projects that they fund. One is a neighborhood plan. So for instance, if we wanted to take a look at the transportation in downtown Newbury, Newburgh might apply to have an overall master plan done for their downtown redevelopment project. That's a neighborhood plan. They also fund transportation systems plans, which look at growth and development and their impacts on the transportation system. That's what we're going to be applying for. This program we successfully got in 2014 to help pay for the last update. We also were successful in 2019 for a tsunami evacuation facilities improvement plan, which was adopted and is being implemented by a number of different local organizations. So we have two very solid, successful runs at this program. I spent the last month or so working with ODOT, working with our public works and engineering departments to try to put together a grant application. The last part of it that I need to put together for you is a resolution from you, from your board, authorizing us to submit the grant request. The grant request is going to be for $275,000. That is an average TSP now. Consultants are very, very successful nowadays. There is a local match, but our local match will be handled through in-kind contributions from our public works department, from the planning department and GIS departments, and obviously management. So we will be matching with in-kind contributions, so there's no direct cash contribution involved. That's an option, but we're looking at it from an in-kind position. If we're successful this fall, the grants would be under contract by next year to begin in the summer of 2025. And so that's kind of a great time frame because the EOA will be done and some of our other planning projects will be done. So it's going to be a nice logical extension. If you would, I think it's the last slide. There we go. We are going to bring forth a resolution authorizing the submittal for your consent agenda on the 26th. I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask questions. I did include a copy of the first draft of this. I'll tell you, after 3 hours with ODOT yesterday, there's been some changes. And so nothing has changed in terms of the scope of the plan, but the language I'm using is much more pointed and direct. I tend to be a little wordy. So I've cut back a few things. So the final document itself will mirror or look very much like the one that was included in your packet this evening, although the language will be tighter. So any questions?
Any questions for our planning manager?
Can I make a comment? Do you want to go first? I'm chief leader. Do you want to?
Okay, who's first?
I'm sorry. I let John go.
Yeah.
Commissioner Toyoka.
Hello, everyone. No, just a question for Jay. I know, you brought up the Ensign Lane on your slides, and I guess it's an isolated case, but, to me, it was like one of those typical things of when, the development happened here in Highland, Highlands Plains or whatever we call it. Ensign Lane was going to be, it was pre-development. We did all the ODOT studies, the click counts, and they said, okay, knowingly having the one light and signal at Ensign would be problematic, but by rule, you couldn't have that many entrances to the highway, that close proximity. So they had to close down Dolphin, the access to the highway, even though it was proposed to keep it open as a right turn only to relieve congestion, but to conform to the current rule, they said, no, they'll close it off, even though they know there's going to be it's problematic and it would be an issue. So when we look, as we go forward, knowing these things, is there a way we can look at that and say, okay, I'm not saying a workaround, but how do we work through when they have the data that says, yes, it will be a problem, how do we work through his current regulations to make some of the common sense changes that help our community?
Commissioner Toyoka, I appreciate the comment. And for a while, I can say I wasn't responsible for that, but ultimately, it is something that I have to address and work through. I know that the county expressed concerns when this was originally done. I know that the city expressed concerns when this was initially done. And some of the things that they've done with regards to safety have made the problem even a little bit worse. Not being able to cross over at alternate 101, not being able to cross over now at Perkins. These are things that they know have created additional traffic on Ensign. As far as working around that particular issue, I always view it as it's better to have them at the table and see if we can make the case. And that's part of what we do here, is to identify these critical issues and request action on the part of the necessary parties. The most interesting part about it, from my perspective, is the city of Warrenton has one part of it, the county has another part of it, and then the state has yet another part of it. So there's three entities here who need to sit down and work out a resolution to that. The only way we're going to get any action on it, in my mind, is to actually sit across from them and talk to them. So I'm hopeful that this process moves us that direction.
Thank you, Jay.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner Token.
Okay,
Commissioner
yeah,
Webb?
I have a couple of questions and a comment. I guess the comment applies to the fact that I went through the application. And I have found that, especially in Oregon, it really helps, since we're one of the kinds of rural counties, to talk about the unique nature. I guess attendant to that, are we going to be working with ODOT's Astoria office on this? Please say yes.
As far as I understand, the ODOT will assign people who are familiar with the situation. I don't know who it would be. Terry, do you have any background or? Yeah, okay. Someone hopefully who has familiarity with this particular region.
Because they have a plan
Yes.
in their office here, and so I would certainly hope that that would be the case. But there will, of course, be a number of people reviewing our application. And I think it's always worthwhile to talk about the uniqueness of Clatsop County. I thought a lot of what I was reading could have been almost anywhere. And we do have the issue, of course, of tsunami zones. We have the issue of sea level rise, which especially in Warrenton is going to be very, very significant, and it's going to impact present development. So I think we have to talk about that. And we also have to there are plenty of other counties in Oregon that have the same conditions, but not all of the same conditions that we have. I don't know of any other county. Maybe our community development director does it. That's 80% forest. There might be, but I don't know. But it's a very unique layout. A very unique layout. We also have some of the worst designed commercial areas. I used to teach a class at PSU in shopping center design. And I have to tell you, I wish I were teaching it now, because we got that Costco deal up there, has everything that you were never supposed to put in a shopping center. So, but it's done, but it's on the ground. And so I think that a couple of issues like that are very relevant. And I think one of the tourist things that everybody on the coast seems to be dealing with is just that a lot of the drivers, since we have virtually no access to our tourism facilities without other than private cars, that we have a lot of people driving our roads who are not familiar with them. And I think that's an additional thing that should be mentioned in the application, that we really seek improvements that are very clear cut. Sometimes ODOT gives us trouble when we ask for signs, which for a tourism area, we've been, I guess Steve Mensky isn't here, but we've been asking for ODOT to put signs to our new boat park. And I don't know, we've been asking for it for 2 years. But it's those sorts of things that we need. We need much stronger signage. There are several things that tourism demands, that a lot of other things don't. So I think that mentioning as often as we can in the application because I just felt that the application was just that could have been from any county, you know, and so I think it's really important to highlight the issues that are unique to us.
Commissioner Webb, I appreciate those comments and a lot of the changes that were suggested by my ODOT interactions were specifically, you got to make this unique. And so your comments fall right in line with what I heard.
Okay.
Again, what you are seeing is my first cut at this. And we've now added a whole bunch of additional information with regards to where tourism is located, impacts associated with changing federal laws and state laws that are impacting where our job bases are going to be. We've added a lot more detail. And so what you're saying is right in line with the changes that I've already started to make.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah.
Always nice when that happens, isn't it, Mr. Chair? Thank you for those. Yeah, I really appreciate this, that we're doing it. I appreciate that you call out that we're the second highest tourism county per capita, because that really does matter, and that's extremely useful when we're going forward. It's extremely useful when you talk about specifically the other developments. I'm living and breathing ODOT a lot for the next few days and weeks. What we're doing tomorrow at Colpack and Northwest Act, the Northwest Area Committee on Transportation, is talking about not only this, but the whole region and what we need from the state legislature, because that tour from the joint committee, the transportation committee, is coming to Tillamook next Tuesday. And so Public Works Director Henriksen and I will be down in Tillamook doing our best to present a logical, concise 2-minute presentation of Clatsop County's needs, understanding that the funding of the transportation system, especially the operations and maintenance part of that budget, will be the governor's focus during the next legislative session. This afternoon, I was on a call for the Jurisdictional Transfer Advisory Committee, which is designed to give advice to the legislature on the transfer of various segments of state highway from ODOT to local jurisdictions. But you see, that's another opportunity to take money from the system. And when we're looking at not only a state system, but a national system that's chronically underfunded for maintenance because of the lack of increase in the federal gas tax, this is where the budget nerds all start nodding, right? Well, we've got big funding issues and we're going to try and deal with them. So I'm grateful that you're moving ahead with this. I'm also glad that the Department of Land Conservation and Development is working as a part of this. And I hope that we can have an effective voice there as well, because I'll be at the LCDC hearing in Bend on the 26th. I won't be here to add my strong affirmation to the sending of this, but I'm absolutely for it. And if there's anything I can do to refine it or promote it or help you in any way, I hope you'll let me know that.
Commissioner, I just wanted to add too, we did send out a request to a number of organizations within the county for letters of support. We've received letters of support from the cities of Cannon Beach, Seaside, Gearhart, Warrenton, the Astoria Warrenton Chamber of Commerce, the Astoria School District, the Sheriff's Office, Senator Weber have all submitted letters of support for this. So we're really trying to make this a broad-based community project. So
Wonderful.
Yeah, job well done, securing those letters of support, and this will come back to us on June 26th, so we'll be authorizing the grant request at that time. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Next is the fee waiver request, Kayak Marine on page 18, and Community Development Director Gail Hendricks.
Let me try this one. So thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. My item is pretty brief. We have a request from Bob Dorn of Kayak Marine, who is working on a dredging project for the new twin piers for the boat lift, the mobile boat lift, and dredging work that's going to occur to support that. When a channel is dredged or material is dredged in the Columbia River estuary, we have designated dredged material disposal sites. And the last update we did to those sites was in 2005. And the site that is being considered right now by Hyack Marine for the disposal of their dredged materials is near Lois Island. And it's not designated on our map as a material disposal site. So Mr. Dorn would need to apply to amend the map, and if that's approved, there's a separate review process that would then be applied for that specific project. So Mr. Dorn is requesting that the board consider waiving the $5,000 application fee for the map amendment and the $865 fee for the review use. And if your board is interested in considering that, we would bring this item back to you on June 26th at your regular meeting.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Well, we're fans, we're fans. I was concerned of the Hyack Marine proposal, generally speaking. I was concerned about the impact on the general fund. County manager assured me that this was an offset for video lottery money to pay for the planning staff and that no general funds were involved. And so I'm delighted to support this.
Ms. Webb?
This is such incredible timing, because yesterday afternoon, we had the meeting for press budget. And got into the discussion of how difficult, of course, it always is. I know this is being publicly recorded, but I've been saying this for 50 years. The Army Corps of Engineers is notoriously difficult to work with. And I think most citizens who have ever had to touch them would feel the same. One of the things, in fact, yesterday at our press budget meeting, jokingly, Frank Spence, who chairs the group, said, you know, maybe we ought to think about getting a dredge and having a dredge that we at the mouth of the Columbia River could share. I think that's a great idea. I'm sure the port would love to have a dredge, but you still have to go through the Army Corps of Engineers. So that's being talked about now. I don't know whether we're going to hear more from the port about that or not, but one of the things that has really struck me is the extent to which we're all excited about what's going on at some point. And actually, I have asked the county manager to talk to the city of Astoria about maybe putting together a group, a partnership of all the actors at Tongue Point, to establish whether or not we're doing the right thing in terms of land use on Tongue Point. And dredging really is part of the land use issues, because we're going to be affecting the flow of the river mightily. And have you heard anything from the Coast Guard yet about their need for dredging when they bring in the fast cutters?
We have a request, and I don't know if this is the same one you're referring to, Commissioner Webb, but there is a public comment period that I believe closes June 25th. That is for dredging of the North Main Bridge.
From whom?
It's from the Army Corps.
So it probably would be for something other than our channel dredging. Do you have
So
any-
I'm not sure exactly if I'm understanding which project you're talking about.
Well, I'm talking about all of Tongue Point and the fact that we already have a lot of channel users, virtually everybody at Tongue Point. And so I'm wondering to what extent we need to be talking, and I'm sorry, this is beside the point. I am totally in favor of granting Hyack their thing, but I think that we need to start thinking in larger terms about ship channeling around all. I mean, we've got almost everybody at Tongue Point has an interest in dredging, because they all have ships navigating the river. Not Bergerson does well, but they know a lot about that kind of thing. So anyway, I've just asked the county manager to kind of explore this. And in terms of the Hyack thing, they have been such wonderful partners with us. I mean, I think already, I mean, I've written several letters. I think the whole board has written letters in support of some of the federal money. Um, Representative Bonamici's been really wonderful about the Hayek expansion. So absolutely, because one of the reasons that I'm in support of it, besides the economic development aspect, is that I think Hayek has been a really good citizen about talking to us and letting us know their needs. And they've just been a really wonderful business that's been very supportive of us. So, in our work, so you go, girl.
Yeah, agreed, Commissioner Webb. Commissioner Toyoka, did you have anything you wanted to add? Okay, I think we're all in favor of the fee waiver.
Okay,
Yep.
we'll bring it back on June
Great,
twenty-sixth.
thank you very much. And anything else on our work session? Wow, cruise through that. Commissioner Webb.
Well, I have a question. We used to get our, in terms of our long-term agendas.
Yes.
We just forgot, she mentioned that earlier that she
Oh.
got.
No, but what, are you still gonna send that to us in email?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because I don't want to stop that, because that's really, I mean, I
Yes.
put that up on
Yeah.
my desk. And because there are a couple of groups that need to be reporting to us pretty soon, so I'll talk to you about that.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and adjourn. We'll have a regular session in a half an hour. So thank you very much.
Meat and cheese.
Meat and cheese.
We're gonna, we should probably decide about reporting on our issues again.
That's good. But that's, I thought about it was there and then I went on there.
It was good. Harry Thompson was there. Katie Jacobson was there. Rep. Bomber was there.
Oh,
If there was any. You're okay, you can leave that and be ready.
Oh, I didn't know that. I always just unmute.
I discovered that after the consent.
Yeah.
No, it's coming
Makes
through.
sense.
You're
Okay.
good. I think the public
Okay.
perception would be my biggest.
Yeah, you just have to start the recording. Yeah.
One more reason why I just don't think it's.
Okay.
At home, but it's all right.
But I mean, I know you can use it as a swimming pool. You use it at the gym, where else can you? Is there any other reimbursement?
People use, people do it for their Peloton.
I wish I could train my body to do that. My body doesn't look
Well,
But, and yoga classes, people do it for their yoga classes too. Yoga membership.
Yeah, all of that.
they could just write a declaration on play golf for fitness.
And get
Speed golf.
reimbursed for it?
Yeah, it's speed golf, yeah. You can't use a car.
Oh, I do.
There is foot golf, or do they still have that foot golf course? Out at foot golf. It's soccer golf out at Lewis and Clark. They had a foot golf course.
They have to pay membership.
You have to pay each time you go. I don't know if they have membership or not. But,
Well, thanks for all the
I don't think so, because that's where the small bar, or the cheaper barbecue is gonna be, which, by the way, you're not gonna be able to do.
What's tonight?
Okay, we all ready to go?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners, as the governing body of Clatsop County, all county service districts for which this body so acts, and as the Clatsop County Local Contract Review Board is now meeting in regular session. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I want to welcome everybody here this evening. Clerk of the Board, can we have the roll call, please?
Chair Quila,
Here.
Vice Chair Banks,
Vice Chair Bangs is excused.
thank you. Commissioner Toyoka,
Here?
Commissioner Webb,
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
I'm here.
Thank you, Clerk of the Board. Just a reminder, if you wanted to participate in public comment this evening, if you want to fill out one of the blue cards and present it to the Clerk of the Board, appreciate you doing that. And we discussed the agenda at our work session. Did we have any comments, questions?
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Commissioner?
Sheriff Phillips, awesome way to get that grant that is going to get us a consolidated 911. This is, as Shakespeare said, a consummation devoutly to be wished. It's on our consent agenda. I didn't want to pull it from that or interrupt the flow of the meeting. Congratulations and thank you.
Well said, Commissioner Thompson, and congratulations, Sheriff. One more step in the right direction, so well done. Any other comments or questions? All right, are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move to adopt the agenda as presented, sir.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. First is a proclamation for Make Music Day, page 27, and Dave Ambrose, our Make Music Clatsop County Director.
Should I say my name for the record?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Name and address.
Dave Ambrose, resident of Astoria. I think this is our fourth year for Make Music Day. For those who don't know, Make Music Day was started in 1982 in France, and it was couched as a way for people to come together to make music, whether they knew how to make music or not. It was all about lifting people into music, and just not as a participant listening, but as a participant in making music. So that's one of the aims of Make Music Day. Right now, there's 1,000 cities and areas around the world in 120 countries that will be celebrating Make Music Day in the same way that Clatsop County will be doing it. This year, we've got 11 venues just in Astoria. We couldn't coerce Seaside and Cannon Beach to join us this year, but there's 11 venues, and you can go to the national website, which is called makemusicday, all one word, .org/Clatsop County, and view what's going to be presented on June the 21st. So that's about all I had, except to say that, music so permeates our society. We get in an elevator, we go into our car and we turn on the radio, and music is everywhere, and it sets moods for us when we go shopping, and when we go to the movies. We hear in the background music that sets the mood for what's going on. When the music starts to change to something ominous, we kind of get on the edge of our seat knowing that something's going to happen. So it's closely tied with emotions and good feelings and bad feelings. So I hope we can all support it next Friday, June the 21st.
Great. Thank you very much, Dave. Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, sir. If I may, I move that we approve the resolution and order proclaiming June 21st, 2024 as Make Music Day and authorize the chair to read and then sign the proclamation. And thank you, Dave.
Do we have a second?
A second, I'm sorry, I'm not used to.
Moved and seconded to approve resolution and order proclaiming June 21st, 2024 as Make Music Day and authorize the chair to read, then sign the proclamation. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. In the matter of proclaiming June 21st, 2024 to be Make Music Day, whereas Make Music Clatsop County is an annual one-day festival on the first day of summer that celebrates the ability of everyone to make music, presented locally by the Arts Council of Clatsop County. And whereas it is a day of music making in public spaces all throughout Clatsop County, all completely free for musicians and audiences alike. And whereas Make Music Day is inspired by France's national musical holiday, Fête de la Musique, that began in 1982 and is now an international phenomenon that takes place on the summer solstice in more than 1,000 cities in 120 countries. And whereas Make Music Day involves musicians, bands, and ensembles from a diverse array of styles and genres, including everything from classical, jazz, and blues to folk, pop, rock, and world music. And whereas on June 21st, 2024, Make Music Clatsop County will celebrate its second annual event as people of all ages, musical genres, and ability levels, from students and amateurs to professionals and marquee artists, gather throughout this day in the county to engage in music making. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that Clatsop County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim June 21st, 2024 as Make Music Day in Clatsop County, and we encourage all community members to celebrate the joy of making music. Dated this 12th day of June, 2024, Clatsop County Board of Commissioners. Thank you very much, Dave. Next is the Pride Month proclamation, proclaiming June 2024 as Pride Month. And Assistant County Manager.
Thank you, Chair. Inspired by the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, the United States initially celebrated Gay Pride Day around the last Sunday in June. In major cities across the nation, the day soon grew to encompass a month-long series of events during the month of June. Today, Pride Month is centered on honoring the local, national, and international history and contributions of LGBTQIA+ individuals and communities. Celebrations include pride parades, picnics, parties, workshops, symposia, and concerts. Pride Month events attract millions of participants around the world, and memorials are also held during this month for those members of the community who have been lost to hate crimes or HIV/AIDS. We now ask the board approve the resolution and order proclaiming June 2024 as Pride Month and authorize the chair to sign.
Mr. Chair, I'd make that motion. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution and order proclaiming June 2024 as Pride Month and authorize the chair to read, then sign the proclamation. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. In the matter of proclaiming June 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024 to be Pride Month, whereas the month of June was designated Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots, which occurred in June of 1969, and whereas Clatsop County is a diverse community committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equity for all, and whereas many of Clatsop County's residents and visitors who contribute to the enrichment of our county are part of the LGBTQIA+ community, and whereas Clatsop County celebrates the diversity of our community and promotes a society in which all residents can live free from discrimination. And whereas Pride Month is an opportunity to celebrate this vision and the harmony in which we aspire to live. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Clatsop County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim June 2024 as Pride Month in Clatsop County and invites all community members to join in reflecting on ways we can all live and work together with a commitment of mutual respect and understanding. Dated this 12th day of June 2024, Clatsop County Board of Commissioners. All right, next is business from the public. One second here. This is an opportunity for anyone to give a 2-minute presentation about any item on the agenda except for public hearings or any topic of county concern that's not on the agenda. Clerk of the board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
Okay. We'll go ahead and turn to the folks that are here with us. And you'll be called on. You'll give your name and address and have 2 minutes to speak. First is Darren Orange.
Darren Orange, Phil Road, Astoria, 24-year resident, homeowner, and business owner. Thank you for your time and consideration. ODF's AOP 2025 and its failures cause for great concern at Mothball Hill and Davis Ridge. ODF's Astoria District is failing to be transparent with its neighbors. Without notification, we found that a clear-cut and cancer-causing chemicals will be considered 20 feet from our kitchen window. My interest is to preserve my home. This will certainly cause devaluation of our property through aesthetic loss, blowdown, slides, chemical drift affecting our organic garden, orchard, and apiary business. ODF's pre-op lacks adequate mapping, wildlife reports and protected species such as salmon, chemical spray information, water science reporting, geotech reports, fails to mention drinking wells within 3,000 feet, fails to mention springs for livestock, fails to mention aquatic anchor sites. May 17th, advisory board meeting. Concerning statements, Forester Dan Goody cites only one stream on Mothball Hill, but the pre-op cites multiple. Goody contradicts pre-op report citing Mothball Hill has been a managed stand. Board member states we want to be working in and around communities. Board recognizes previous Highway 30 slides from ODF Clearcut. Chair describes our request to not harvest as a selfish transfer of wealth. Offers firewood for appeasement. Pre-op cites deep-seated slide, but geotech report is not available to the public. County reports entire neighborhood, Phil Road, in slide zone. Astoria District meeting denied, then rescinded with an egregious condition. State Rep. Javadi says it's crucial that we ensure sustainable practices that do not jeopardize the well-being of our communities or the natural habitat. I ask that Clatsop County Commissioners request a listening meeting in person with State Forester Cal Mukamoto in Astoria with community members, no conditions, before the sale of Clatsop State Forest July 1. We have hired a water scientist. We will have base studies made, water, soil, and blood. We ask that ODF do its due diligence in scientific findings and be transparent with residents of Clatsop County. We ask Clatsop County Commissioners to ensure these deliverables to its citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. And next is Trask Ferguson.
Hi, I'm Trask Ferguson, resident of Clatsop County at 3883. Be affected directly by the Mothball Hill proposed cut. I'm also a local business owner. For authenticity, my grandma was born in a logging camp in Valsets, Oregon. My grandpa on the other side of the family was a timber farmer for 22 years. I understand about sustainable harvesting, but what's going on as I dug deep into the chemicals is anything but, sensible to me. My knee-jerk reaction, and it's just an opinion, but these chemicals are bad. They're forever chemicals, and they're not laced with vitamin C. I mean, they're not good for us. It's just my opinion, but in the absence of facts, I just don't think we should proceed. We really just have a debate. And I'll give you a couple quick examples of what I mean. In the absence of facts, there's items that aren't debatable. Nuclear waste next to a school ground, not debatable. Dumping oil into the Columbia River is not debatable. I wish we had, more time to pause and take into consideration these things. As crazy as all these things are, they were daily occurrences, and I wish again that we would have stopped historically, and we would have measured, and we would have taken stock of what's going on. You guys have an opportunity to do that. There's a lot of other municipalities and counties around the country, 141 to be exact, that have had this same issue introduced. They've put it to the vote, they've gone to a resolution, they've gone to a variety of mechanisms to take back local control of their county and stop the use of herbicides and pesticides. It's not a complicated ask, and it's not an extreme ask. I just think it merits more time and study, and that's all we're asking for. And I think when cancer and ecological systems are on the line, it's the least we can do. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Trask. Next is Vicki Bergerson.
I am Vicki Bergerson. I reside at 38883 Highway 30 in Astoria. My comments in response to the 2025 ODF AOP. For the record, I am not against timber harvesting. As a matter of fact, my 76-year-old father only stopped driving log truck only 2 years ago. I am here today to voice my concern regarding the health and safety implications of the proposed pesticide spraying in our county. The toxic chemicals used in timber harvesting present a significant risk, not only to my property and my family, but also to the well-being of every resident in Clatsop County. These substances have decades of documented detrimental effects on our environment, water sources, wildlife, and ultimately human health. The three chemicals mixed in the cocktail sprayed on timber harvest are typically 2,4-D, atrazine, which is diesel, and glyphosate. I went to the EPA.gov to research 2,4-D, and here is the quote. 2,4-D is not Agent Orange. Agent Orange was a mixture of two different herbicides, 2,4-D, 2,4,5-T, as well as kerosene and diesel. So basically, glyphosate is now being substituted for the 2,4,5-T. In 2015, the World Health Organization stated glyphosate is, and I quote, probably a carcinogenic to humans. In 2017, California Office of Environmental Health listed glyphosate as the cause of cancer, and it is now required to be listed on all things that contain glyphosate. Given the serious potential impacts, I asked the Clatsop County Board of Commissioners to do some research and find a way to halt the spraying of these harmful chemicals on thousands of Clatsop County acres. It is imperative that we prioritize the health and safety of our community and explore safer, more sustainable alternatives to current timber harvesting practices. Thank you for your commitment to the protection of the residents of Clatsop County.
Thank you, Vicki. Next is Julia Snyder.
My name is Julie Snyder. I live at 43851 Sylvandale Lane in Brownsmead/Astoria. Oops, need these. As a resident of Sylvandale Lane, I live just across the road from the Henrys. He will be speaking in a minute, whose property will be directly hit by the proposed clear cut. I could talk about all the ways that clear cut will negatively impact the entire neighborhood, but others will. So instead, I want to describe a nagging feeling I've had about how this clear cut proposal has played out so far, how we didn't learn of the proposal until it was too late to have any say, and how we've yet to be allowed to do so with the relevant agencies. As a taxpaying resident of Clatsop County and this state, I feel as if my sense of citizenship has been belittled. I feel as if I've been treated like a child who's too young to have any say in whatever may affect me. I feel as if I've become an irrelevance in our democratic process. I want my sense of citizenship restored. I want my faith in the democratic process restored. So I'm asking this board to please press the Astoria DOF to meet with those of us who will be affected by this proposed clear cut, listen to our concerns, and to take those concerns seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Next is Rebecca Nielsen.
I'm Rebecca Nielsen. I live at 43905 Sylvandale Lane. I'm your constituent and I'm asking for your help. My great-grandparents came to Brownsmead from Finland, and my family has lived on a farm at the base of Davis Ridge for 97 years, and I am a third-generation Brownsmeader. The ODF plans to clear cut and spray the 200 acres of legacy forests on Davis Ridge from Sylvandale Lane to Nat Creek. This will put tax-paying property owners like myself and others here at risk for mudslides, wildfires, pesticides, as well as devaluing our property.
Oops, I apologize.
The ODF plans only to meet with us after the decision is made. I'm asking you to intercede for us and to urge the Astoria District of the ODF to hear our concerns before the July 1st final decision. The water from the wetland at the base of Davis Ridge is channeled through a culvert under the road alongside my property. It floods my hayfield in the winter and year-round feeds into Davis Creek, which eventually feeds into the Columbia River. This affects the salmon. There's a beaver that lives in there. There's all kinds of other species. I've got 2 bald eagles that come to my place from over from Nat Creek. And it will affect me and the livestock that eat the hay that grows on my property that will now be permeated with toxic herbicides that the ODF plans to spray. I'm asking you to give your Brownsmead neighbors a voice in their future and their property and make ODF meet with the affected county residents that include near Davis Ridge and Mossball Hill before July 1 and make them provide the studies and due diligence that proves this option is the best of all the alternatives and that it will not negatively impact county residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next is Terry Henry.
Good afternoon. My name's Terry Henry. I reside and own the property on 43804 Sylvandale Lane, which on one side borders the Oregon State Forest, which is shown to be a location of the proposed Davis Ridge timber sale plan. I have concerns about this plan due to the fact that I have water rights for the springs located on the state property. The water storage and the water lines run through state property to various locations on my property for irrigation purposes, and the residential water from the spring runs into an approximately 1 acre pond, which is labeled as partial wetlands on both private property and state property, according to my water rights map. Clear cutting or logging the section of land will degrade my property and the value, as well as destroy the wetlands, which is home to various living creatures. The runoff from the wet season will contaminate the water with proposed poisons and split from and silt from the churned up soil that will create possible mudslides, and the fish and the animals will be affected in the pond, as well as river otter families raising pups from time to time. This water runs directly into the waterways of the Columbia River. I have 3 beehives that pollinate fruit trees and vegetable gardens in the neighborhood, as well as anything grown in the wild. My bees have 0 tolerance for any poison, for this will wipe out the entire hives. This is a 0-win with negative effect on the surroundings people, not to speak of the heavy traffic, dust and dirt and damage from our 1-lane road. I'm requesting that the County Commission office request a meeting with concerned and affected neighbors that will be affected by this county plan with the ODF to discuss our options before the plan is finalized. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that would like to participate in public comment? Sue, just your name and address for the record.
I'm Sue Skinner, 511 Jerome, Astoria. I don't live in Brownsmead anymore. I don't live at the Eagle Tree, but I'm really concerned, as are a lot of my neighbors, about this clear cut proposal that sounds completely outrageous in a time when everything's going to complete hell. You know, there's nothing left. You know, why are they cutting down 80-year-old trees near the water, near a tributary, John Day, and on the Columbia, and in a wetland? I don't understand. I mean, it's 2024. You know, we're on the rocks. We need to do something different. You know, we need to figure out some other way to do this. I know that clear cutting is great for people's lifestyle, some people I appreciate that, but this is not the right thing to do. It's not the right time. It's not the right place. It's a terrible idea to cut down these mature trees. They're carbon sequesters. They've got mycorrhizomes underneath them that are nourishing that all the way here, all the way further than here. Anyway, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue. Any other public comment this evening? Appreciate what everybody had to say. I know that we will be discussing as well. Thanks so much. Next is the consent calendar. We've had an opportunity to review the consent calendar during our work session.
Mr. Chair, I'd move adoption of the consent calendar as presented.
I second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thanks so much for coming. You certainly are welcome to leave if you would like at this time. We'll start with Commissioner reports and Commissioner Webb.
Well, thank you, Chair Quayle. Lots of meetings, et cetera, to report. I'm very pleased to report that the Oregon Coastal Zone Management Committee has this is a committee that actually has been in existence for years all over the coastal United States. And its intention is to give local governments the opportunity to participate with federal agencies and giving them context and comment about what's going on in our oceans. Just for years now, the American Association of Counties, the Oregon AOC, somebody help me out, Association of Oregon Counties. I'm getting over acronymed here. But I think it was reconstituted by those of us who are very concerned about what we're hearing about the possibility of the federal government allowing leases for wind energy production on our continental shelf. And I've been watching this movement for a number of years now, and there have been leases let on the East Coast, in the Northeast primarily. And I have found it a little bit alarming because the offshore coast in the U.S. Northeast is significantly different from our coastal waters here on the West Coast. And the states in that area are also very populated and don't have a lot of open space for alternative energy sources. However, we do. And we also, as does the Northeast, we have a long history of very prosperous fishing grounds here. And nobody, in the couple of years that I've been asking the federal agency and our, which is the Ocean Energy Management, BOEM, and this is something I have discussed personally with each of our senators and with our representative, all of which have supported my asking a lot of questions about what we have learned on the offshore wind energy that has been developed in the United States and in Northern Europe. I have actually been to several Northern Europe countries and seen the production, seeing these ongoing efforts. So, as I say,
We have now reconstituted this very important organization. And both Commissioner Thompson and I attended a meeting in Newport last week, where we got a presentation from ODFW, which has been working with the federal agencies, and gave us a presentation, which I hope that we'll be able to share with our other commissioners. There are so many questions. There are so many scientific questions about the fishing grounds and the various species that come through those fishing grounds. And the federal government, I believe, has not done a very good job in answering most of our questions, particularly because our western fishing grounds are really very, very different from the East Coast grounds. I think that I like to tell the story about my father, who was a lifelong sailor and a Coast Guard officer, when he was teaching me to sail off the coast of New Jersey. Sat me down at the dining room table, and because I asked him the question about, what's the deal with the Bermuda Triangle? Why is it so dangerous? And so my father brought home from work a bunch of sea charts. What I called ocean charts. And he said, I don't know why we call this the oceans, because they're really not one body. They're actually a series of rivers that constitute the ocean. And that helped me be a better sailor. And it certainly helped me understand marine life and geology to a much better situation. And so to assume, ever since then, which was probably 60 years ago, I have tried to be very sensitive to, especially because having grown up among coastal waters, we were ardent sailors and eaters of fish. It's very important to understand that we can't make generalizations about what goes on in fisheries as an economic sector of our economy, and a very important sector right here. Or to make generalities about what effects are going to be from shipping, from climate change, from the art of fishing and the things that are used that entangle too many of our fisheries. So I guess I'm a skeptic about all the listening and reading that I've been doing about the placement of offshore wind. So I've been watching it very closely, and I'm really pleased that we are back in motion as a coastal zone management organization. We will be watching and asking questions of the federal agencies and of our state agencies that are involved. I was really happy to have Commissioner Thompson attending the same group, because she's on the land use conservation and, the LC, land development. LCDC. Our state land use planning organization, because it gave us a wider perspective on bringing the news home. So I can, Commissioner Quayla has agreed to be the knowledgeable fishery expert in our efforts. And so I think rather than having just one commissioner liaison, we're going to be we're going to be doing this and bringing our various expertises to it as a broader representation for the commission. I got more things, but they can wait. This was a great thing. Also, I'd like to personally congratulate our sheriff, because for getting this wonderful appropriation. That it's something he knows I care a great deal about. And I was actually in a senator's office a couple of weeks ago and was sworn to secrecy not to reveal the fact that it was coming here, and it's been killing me. So there you have it.
Great.
Thank you.
The report. Thank you, Commissioner Webb. Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Commissioner Webb, I don't have your depth of knowledge, so here's the 25-cent version for everybody. The federal government has goals for clean energy because fossil fuels create more greenhouse gases. That's detrimental to climate change. In order to meet those goals, they propose offshore wind energy as an alternative source. The East Coast, I would say, floor of the ocean is shallower and flatter, so they can fasten the wind energy things directly to the ocean floor on the East Coast. On the West Coast, we fall off abruptly. So there has to be a complex system with multiple cables anchoring each one of these. What they create is a jungle or a labyrinth that's impenetrable to both fish and fisher folk. Furthermore, I'm quoting people who know this, not I. There are rocky shores. There are certain avenues where the fish find food. They are placing, for some unknown reason, the wind energy right where the fish will go for their food. The fishers are concerned that the fish won't be able to get through and they won't be able to resume finding the food. So it interrupts the fish's food chain to have this placement. Does that comport with your, okay. I'm there, Commissioner Webb is our Clatsop County representative to OCZMA. My designation on LCDC is I'm the coastal commissioner. That means I should know everything that's happening all along the coast of Oregon. So I went to the OCZMA meeting, enjoyed the presentation because we are going to be well informed and well supported now that Commissioner Quila is looking to get on OPAC. That will help us present, because they said at the meeting, well, Leanne, you know there's going to be a community meeting about offshore wind tonight. I said, oh, I should stick around. So I went, and the Department of Land Conservation and Development had a series of public meetings, but they had them in Curry and Coos County, and they stopped in Newport in Lincoln County. It's like, wait a minute, don't you understand that our North County fisher folk are going to be coming down all through that territory and will be impacted as well? So, lesson learned. There's opportunity for input about the impact of the costs and the benefit, because Rep. Gomberg is there, who is chair of the Coastal Caucus, which is the bipartisan bicameral, which means both House and the Senate. The group of legislators from the coast that act to consider what our needs are and what our challenges are. Rep. Gomberg is the chair of that. He's the only Democrat. It used to be different, but that's how it is now. I think it would behoove us to stay connected with our Coastal Caucus during the next legislative session. So if we can put that on our basket list, because we need more to do, but if we can stay in close communication with them, I think that will be advantageous to us. His concern was that the energy would be produced in Oregon. The costs would accrue in Oregon to our fishing industry, to our view shed, to whatever happens if cables are abandoned or there are problems. We'll pay the cost. The benefits, however, will be channeled south in terms of energy that goes down to California. So this is a disproportion that we don't want to see. And as you pointed out, Commissioner Webb, our federal delegation should know about this as well. So we need to look out for ourselves, our fishing industry, the whole coast. We need to bring in our federal delegation, because what we're looking at is what is our impact on the natural world. We humans always impact the natural world, no matter what we do. We heard some very concerned neighbors tonight. You know, it's something to struggle with, because we've been looking at habitat conservation areas that we had hoped. Commissioner Bangs isn't here tonight. She's been advocating that those habitat conservation areas protect the neighbors who came here tonight. She was not successful in that effort. How do we proceed from here? So we'll do the best we can for the neighbors to address your concerns, but the State Board of Forestry made certain decisions that we don't have control over that leave us less able to respond as we'd like to. So let me leave it at that. Okay, so here's the happy news. There is a thing called the Commissioner Exchange Program. That's a part of the Association of Oregon Counties too. They have commissioners go from one county to another to visit and to get acquainted and to learn about stuff. So I was invited to come to Wasco County, as was Commissioner Chang from Deschutes County. So we both went to Wasco County. We went to Google. They didn't let us inside Google. What they did, though, was let us inside this cool new plant called 280 Earth, which is Jacques' plant that takes carbon dioxide from the air and absorbs it onto this material and then removes the carbon dioxide and condenses it and puts it into tanks. And I said, Jacques, we'd love to have you come to Clatsop County. And besides that, then you can barge that stuff away and put it, they store it underground. So I'm still waiting for the call from Jacques, but the outreach was there. I've given to the county manager the agenda because now we get to host commissioners from Wasco and Deschutes County. We're going to show them what we have to be proud of, what our challenges are, what our achievements are, the beauty and the wonder of this place. Maybe we'll get Dave Ambrose to play music for them. I don't know. But getting together to understand how our shared concerns can lead us to be more effective as commissioners, that's really what we're all about. Going forward, oh my goodness, it's all things transportation, because tomorrow is Columbia Pacific Economic Development, and then the Northwest Area Committee on Transportation will be talking about the visit next Tuesday of the Joint Committee on Transportation. And thank you, Public Affairs Director Angelini, who's going to help Mr. Hendricks and Commissioner Thompson perform better than they would without her support to present Clatsop County's case, because what we're after is to communicate Clatsop County's challenges and needs as we're going into the 2025 legislative session, because this session is going to be about funding transportation, especially the operations and maintenance part of the budget. You can't yawn when I say budget. I'm sorry, it's not loud. No, we don't have enough money to repair our system to keep it up, and that's a big problem. The committee is going to be moving around the state. They're coming to Tillamook to listen to what we have to say next Tuesday, and I'll be there hoping, along with Mr. Hendricks, to do our best to represent our needs. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Good report. Commissioner Toyoka.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I've got, we have certain projects in progress, especially pertaining to housing, but I'll leave those till we have more complete news. But I would jump on the offshore wind bandwagon with Commissioner Webb, Commissioner Thompson, and also just reiterate that, they do have data, especially like the Block Island project with the, the negative environmental impacts of the actual wind generation, because those are serviced by hydraulic and oils that do leak into the ocean and cause problems with the local ecosystems. Fisheries have been basically moved and lost. Ecosystems have been changed. Energy costs for the people in that Block Island project, energy costs are much higher than normal because of the cost of the production of the wind. And then job loss, they touted a lot of job replacement in the energy sector, but it was pretty much half the people that lost, people lost their jobs in fishing and associated industries. Only half of them got basically jobs in the energy sector. So they lost quite a few jobs in that transition. So like both my fellow commissioners said, there's a lot of other factors, and there's hard data available that needs to be looked at before we put our own ecosystem at risk. And that's all I'll say for now. I'll get back to those other housing projects when we have more definitive information to share.
Yeah, thank you very much, Commissioner Toyoka. And it was mentioned by all three of the commissioners about, wind energy and ocean policy. And I was really honored to be asked by the chair of the Oregon Fishermen's Cable Committee, Scott McMullen, to see if I would be willing to serve as the OPEC representative. And that is a position reserved for an elected within Tillamook, Clatsop, and Lincoln counties. And I've reached out to the chair of Tillamook County, and she's very supportive. Haven't heard back from the chair of Lincoln County, but I really appreciate the support of my fellow commissioners. My background in the fishing industry, obviously, and then also being mayor in Warrenton for many years. I think that'll be a big benefit to serve in that capacity. Chair David Yamamoto was the previous representative on OPEC, so I think I'm excited to take on that and submit my application, and that's a governor's appointment, so that will hopefully take place within the next month or so, hopefully. But and then I also went to the NOAA meeting last Thursday. They have been moving on, not just on the Owens Adair property, but there's a number of other projects that they continue to try to develop additional housing and low-income housing at that. But one of the things that they have run up against is a staffing issue, and they are trying to fill their units. And obviously, that's been an issue that's been ongoing. If you're not able to get units filled, you're not getting the revenues for it. That's been a deficiency that they're trying to really focus on. And I know that the executive director is spending a lot of time looking at applications, trying to actually do that work. Hopefully, they'll be able to bring somebody else on board and fill those units and be able to bring that revenue in, because that's very important to their sustainability. And other than that, I don't have anything else. I appreciate the reports. I'll turn it over to our assistant county manager.
Thank you, Chair. So though it's just a first step and there are still many more steps to go, Merkley and Wyden's offices have supported our federal funding requests for 5 different projects, those being the courthouse security, the public safety communications, Esperanza Village, Copeland Commons, and the Westport Ferry Road. So we still have a long ways to go, but they will now move forward with the subcommittees. Also, just a reminder that June 19th is a national holiday, so the county offices will be closed, and so there will be no work session that day. And that is all I have, Chair.
Thank you very much. So, and that's fantastic news about those, requests. And we can feel like we made a difference when we went back to Washington, D.C., that all those are getting advanced. That's fantastic news. So I do notice that we have a 7 o'clock hard stop for Commissioner Toyoka, who will have to leave. Well, I know we have a lot that we have to go through, so we'll have to hustle through this because we only have 3 of us.
But that's a quorum.
Oh, wait, we got a quorum. Never mind. We're good. Okay. But we will hustle regardless next day. First is authorizing a loan from the Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund through the Department of Environmental Quality on page 123.
That's me.
County Manager. Yeah.
So as you all know, we've been working for a couple years now on the anaerobic biodigester project feasibility to see if that's something that would solve some of our high-strength organic waste issues. This most recent phase 2 of this project it costs approximately $250,000. This has a 50% match from the Energy Trust of Oregon, so they're covering approximately $125,000 of these costs. The county has been working with Regional Solutions Team as well as other community partners to find funding for the other 50%. We do have ARPA funds set aside for this, but if we are able to find other revenue streams, we would prefer to be able to use those ARPA funds in other ways. We have received grant dollars, or not grant dollars, but help costs to help offset this from Northwest Natural, the City of Warrenton. Both of them have contributed $20,000 each, and the Port of Astoria has contributed $1,000. So what we are now doing is we are applying for a Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund through the Department of Environmental Quality. There is a chance that this would be a forgivable loan, and so right now they're in the review process, and if it is decided to be forgivable, then that would be the additional cost for these, for this project, so that we are able to reserve those ARPA dollars for other projects. At this time, we're just asking that your support, that your board support authorizing a loan through the resolution and order, and we will only be moving forward with the loan if it is decided to be forgivable. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move to authorize the chair to sign the resolution and order in the matter of authorizing a loan from the Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund through the Department of Environmental Quality.
Second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the chair to sign the resolution and order in the matter of authorizing a loan from the Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund through the Department of Environmental Quality. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is B, the change award on page 140. Assistant County Manager.
Yes. So as you all know, we were selected by the state for a project turnkey site, and that site was the Columbia Inn. Recently, Clatsop Community Action, who is operating the Columbia Inn on our behalf, went to a conference, and that Clatsop County was recognized with this award. It is called a Be the Change Award, and it is recognized for having the grit, determination, and community conversations to help bring needed shelter and services to the region. And so we would like to recognize this evening. We have a certificate. It's in your bag, Teresa.
Oh, it is?
So, board members, if you will please come up.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I'm okay. I don't need the publicity yet.
Do you have Commissioner Toyoka in there?
Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, perfect.
Are you going to answer? I don't like that. You know, do you
Yes.
need a motion for that, or?
No, we just wanted to recognize you, and once again, thank you. Myself and Viviana will be going before the Astoria City Council on Monday night, just to provide them with an update on how things are going at the Columbia Inn in regards to just the number of individuals that they've been able to shelter there, which includes over, I believe it's over 90 youth under the age of 18. And then they've also been able to rehouse over 20 families at this point in time using those rapid rehousing dollars. And so also just talking about other, you know, upcoming projects that they are hoping to work on, so.
Good job.
Well, this is quite an achievement. It's very well deserved. Assistant County Manager had a lot to do with this as well as all of the Clatsop County team and our nonprofit partners that we work with in a short period of time too.
Yes.
To stand this up and to get it active and operational. So, job well done. This is great. This is a neat certificate and a neat recognition. Commissioner Webb.
I think in the last couple of days, got communication from our U.S. Representative, Suzanne Bonamici, that she has just introduced legislation that is a mirror of the turnkey program in order to put some federal money behind the state's turnkey program, which I think is a real credit to the state of Oregon for initiating such a thing.
Yeah, that's great. Any other comments, questions? Next is the designation of local public health administrator on page 142, Assistant County Manager.
Thank you. Per ORS 431.418, the local public health authority, the Board of Commissioners shall appoint a qualified local public health administrator to supervise the activities of the local public health authority. The qualifications are outlined in OAR, and it includes a bachelor's degree and public health work experience in education. As you all know, the Public Health Director, Jen Chang Huang, has resigned, and staff are recommending appointing Jill Quackenbush, who is currently the Deputy Director of Public Health, as the local public health administrator, effective June 21st, 2024.
Okay, thank you, Assistant County Manager. We have that motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we appoint Jill Quackenbush as the local public health administrator.
Second that.
Second.
Yes, moved and seconded to appoint Jill Quackenbush as the local public health administrator effective June 21st, 2024. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Good. Next is a public hearing, Westport Bypass Road Resolution of Necessity, page 143. Terry Hendricks, Public Works Director. So this is a public hearing. We'll have the staff report to begin with, so I'll turn it over to you, Terry.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Several years ago, you asked Public Works Department to come up with a plan to replace the Westport Ferry Road, which was being damaged at that time by the heavy truck traffic that was put into place as the rock barging operation went into place. And at that time, we had, it was actually back in 2018, we had our first meeting with the community down there. They suggested that when we presented them with two plans, that they would rather have another road outside of the community to take the trucks out of the residential area. Subsequently, in 2021, we had a second meeting, and the community asked the same thing, move the traffic out of the residential area. So since that time, at the board's direction, we've continued to work toward that end. And we have a design in place, 60%, and it's gone before an ODOT, it's gone through their review, and we recently found out that we are going to be getting the grant of access needed. That was the next step in the process. So we've been dealing with one property owner and have a PSA in hand. We have another property owner that we're still negotiating with. What I've come before you tonight is to ask that you sign a resolution of necessity. The resolution of necessity will direct department staff, council, and authorized agents to proceed with good faith negotiations for the acquisition of the needed property interests and to utilize the expertise of authorized real estate appraisers and other such experts to assist in the acquisition process. The resolution further requires the Public Works Director to notify the board if the exercise of power of eminent domain becomes necessary. Only after this process is completed does it authorize the Office of County Counsel and authorize outside counsel to file condemnation proceedings. We recommend that the Board of Commissioners approve the resolution of necessity, authorizing the acquisition of necessary property interests by good faith negotiations, if possible, for condemnation if necessary. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Director Hendricks. Do we have any questions? Okay. This time we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest to report? None?
No.
Clerk of the board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
Okay, are there any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
Okay. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would note on page 146 of our board packet, the element that says the county shall negotiate in good faith and accordance with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations in an attempt to reach agreement as to the amount of just compensation. I would comment that I think the county staff has operated in good faith
in an attempt to reach just compensation. I think we all regret that we need to take this action, but if there are no other comments, I'm ready to make that motion.
Any other comments? Ready? Yep.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the resolution of necessity and authorize the chair of the board to sign the resolution to start the acquisition of the right-of-way and construction easements.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution of necessity and authorize the chair of the board to sign the resolution, start the acquisition of the right-of-way and construction easements. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Commissioner.
Thank you, Terry. Next is ordinance 2024-15, amending park rules. And thank you, Commissioner Toyoka. I know Commissioner Toyoka had to leave. On page 158. So this is a continuation of the public hearing on ordinance 24-15. And we have the second reading by title only, County Council.
This is ordinance, 2024-15 in the matter of an ordinance amending Clatsop County Code, Chapter 12.28, ordinance 1999-13 regarding park rules.
Thank you, County Council. Do we have any additional information from staff?
None.
Okay. Clerk of the board, are there any members of the public that have signed up to speak?
No, there are not.
Are there any members of the public that have signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. Do we have any discussion?
Commissioner Webb, this is your area. Do you want to?
Commissioner Webb?
Not particularly. We opened this park about a year ago. And as with all new programs, we've learned some lessons now. We have some excellent park hosts out there. And we've learned that we have to keep being careful about certain things. And our park, along with all the other unincorporated areas of the city, of the county, are subject to uninvited folks who want to come and take up space. So this is probably not the last time. Once we expand the park further, we'll probably come in with more things, but it's an as-in process learning effort on our part.
Would you like to make the motion?
I would love to. I move to adopt ordinance 2024-15, amending Clatsop County Code Chapter 12.28, ordinance 99-13, regarding park rules for moorage and use of transient docks in county parks, and conduct the second reading by short title only.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2024-15, amending Clatsop County Code Chapter 12.28, ordinance 99.13, regarding park rules for moorage and use of transient docks in county parks, and conduct the second reading by short title only. All those in favor, signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Next is hearing for vacation of a portion of county road on page 162. County Surveyor Vance Swenson, and may we have the staff report? Vance.
All right. Good evening, Chair Aquila, members of the board. My name is Vance Swenson, County Surveyor. Tonight, we've got a public hearing for the vacation of a portion of County Road 148. This is the third step. We've already completed step one, which was to accept the petition back in March. Step two was to prepare the roadmaster's report, and that was completed on May 8th. Tonight is the final step where we'll have a public hearing. This particular section of road, if you look at page 169, you can see it's I believe it's going to be, cross our fingers, pretty straightforward. It's in an area that's proposed to be developed by a landowner. The road doesn't exist on the ground physically. It's just kind of one of those ghost remnants of an old proposed road that never happened. So with that, is there any questions or anything?
Any questions? Okay, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest to report?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Clerk of the board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
Anyone signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. And do we have any discussion? Are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I just appreciate that the petitioners paid the road vacation fee in total. They've been so good to work with, and I want to appreciate their good citizenship in that regard. And I'd like to make the motion to approve the resolution and order vacating a portion of County Road number 148 and authorize the board chair to sign the resolution and order. Second?
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution and order vacating a portion of County Road number 148 and authorize the board chair to sign the resolution and order. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Vance.
Thank you.
All right, next is the public hearing and adoption of fiscal year 2024-25 budget for Clatsop County 4-H and Extension District. And that is going to be on page 173. And Andrew Sullivan, our finance director, is here. I'll turn it over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. At the meeting on May 8th, 2024, the Clatsop County 4-H and Extension District Budget Committee approved the district's 24-25 annual budget. Following any public comment, staff is asking the board to formally adopt the Clatsop County 4-H and Extension District budget in accordance with local budget law. The attached resolution in order to adopt the 24-25 Clatsop County 4-H and Extension Special Service District budget of $936,620 imposes and categorizes the taxes provided for in the approved budget at the rate of 0.0534 per $1,000 of assessed value of all taxable property within Clatsop County and makes appropriations in accordance with local budget law. It reflects the budget as approved by the Budget Committee. And if there are any questions, I am more than happy to try to address them.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Any questions?
None.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Clerk of the board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
Any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
We'll go ahead and close the public